First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
And none of y'all meat meals, y'all puppies, y'all little boozies, none of these names.
When is the new album coming? New album coming up?
Seriously, bro? Yo, stop talking to me.
Okay. All right.
How many no's?
Way more no's than yes.
But do the no's get to you? Like, do you have to verbally say no?
I'm Kim Kardashian West. I'm a mother, millionaire, law student, and billionaire.
I'm sad that I didn't 2 years ago, but I can't change that.
Because all of them. This whole movie, honestly, the work that I did on screen was easier than the work that I did off screen.
First off, Miss Brittney Spears. On February 16th, 2007, the Gimme More singer infamously shaved her head. Days later, she shocked the world by furiously attacking a paparazzo's car with an umbrella. The following July, the pop star offered up a bizarre explanation for her violent behavior. I was preparing my character for a role in a movie where the husband never plays his part, so they switch places accidentally, she wrote on her website. I take all my roles very seriously and got a little carried away. Unfortunately, I didn't get the part. But in her 2023 memoir, her opinion on the incident changed. She says, I'd been eyeballed so much growing up, I'd been looked up and down, I had people telling me what they thought of my body since I was a teenager. Shaving my head and acting out were ways of pushing back, Spears adds in the book. After Brittney was put in a court-ordered conservatorship in 2008, granting her father and a lawyer control over all her financial and personal affairs, she says she was forbidden from keeping the new shaved look. Under the conservatorship, I was made to understand that those days were now over, she writes. I had to grow my hair out and get back into shape. I had to go to bed early and take whatever medication they told me to take. Our next celebrity meltdown involves Nothing Compares to You singer Sinead O'Connor. Sinead was performing on SNL when a brief moment destroyed her entire career. On October 3rd, 1992, O'Connor appeared on SNL to promote her new album, Am I Not Your Girl? For the second song of the evening, O'Connor had chosen to perform an a cappella version of Bob Marley's song War. Throughout the performance, she stared intently into the camera, and as she sang the final line, we have confidence in the victory of good over evil, O'Connor held a photograph of the Pope directly in front of the camera, ripped it up, saying, fight the real enemy, before throwing the pieces to the floor. The SNL producers were not aware of O'Connor's plan. During the dress rehearsal, she had held up a picture of a child. Everybody at SNL apparently froze after the live performance, unsure how to react, and that the music producer Liz Welch went from jubilation to tears. The executive producer Lorne Michaels said the air went out of the studio and that he ordered that the applause sign should not be used. The audience remained silent and O'Connor returned to her dressing room where somebody found her talking to herself, quote, doing something between poetry and chanting. Our next celebrity meltdown involves Nicki Minaj and Mariah Carey. On an episode of American Idol, the former show judges got into a curse word-filled fight. Minaj criticized Carey for being too harsh on a contestant, which the Vision of Love singer responded by saying, I'm sorry, it's just that that's what I do, Nicki. The Anaconda rapper immediately fired back. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry I can't help her, she said, tossing her seat behind her. Maybe I should just get off the effing panel. Let me get off the panel. After leaving the room, Nicki was overheard shouting, shut the F up. Finish the show, I'm done. But that's not the only on-air meltdown Nicki Minaj has had. When accepting her VMA award for Best Music Video, Nicki made a dig at fellow performer Miley Cyrus. While thanking her pastor and other fans, Nicki said, back to this B-word who had a lot to say about me the other day in the press. Miley, what's good? Speaking of on-air meltdowns, Hugh Grant had some rude things to say to Ellen while on her talk show. After she complimented her guest, calling him fantastic, smart, and all those things, Grant responded back by saying, I wish I thought that about you. He also had some rude things to say about Julia Roberts while on the Oprah show. Very big mouthed. Literally, physically, she has a very big mouth. When I was kissing her, I was aware of a faint echo. Again, they would try to get Grant back on track during the interview, mentioning that Julia Roberts was a really good person, in which Grant responded by saying, I wouldn't go that far. Hugh Grant would go on to admit that this current relationship with Roberts is not on the best of terms because of past comments. I've probably made too many jokes about the size of her mouth. She might hate me by now. Michael Jackson seemed to have a meltdown after his infamous baby dangling incident. If you don't know what I'm talking about, here is the story. In 2002, Michael Jackson visited Berlin to accept an award for his philanthropic work on behalf of children, a Lifetime Bambi Entertainment Award. During his stay, the pop star dangled his 9-month-old son, nicknamed Blanket because his face was covered with a towel, over the balcony of the hotel he was staying in. It seemed that what the king of pop was trying to do was show his baby to the fans that had gathered outside his hotel, but the public's response was obviously completely opposite from what Jackson had expected. As soon as photos and videos of the incident were released to the public, the media started criticizing Michael's parenting skills and reckless behavior. Ringo Starr, a former member of the Beatles, got in a serious altercation with interviewer Sherry Hewson. During a live event, she said, "He just sat down, said, 'Okay then girls, what are we doing here? Shall we just get Paul McCartney out of the way?'" This was live, by the way. Anyway, he carries on. "Let's get Paul McCartney out the way." "You want me to talk about Paul McCartney?" I said. "Well, no, you're here." And he said, "No, you don't. You want to talk about Paul McCartney." She continued, "He was so angry. It was just so weird. I thought, why? Why? It was just a really weird thing." And then he said to the audience, "Can I tell you all, if anyone wants an autograph, cannot have one, because I don't do things like that." At the end of it, one of the producers came up with one of her little children who was only 4 years old and said that she knew he didn't do autographs, but told him that her daughter was only 4 and she really loves the Beatles. He just stared and said, "Really?" And then he said, "Did you not hear what I just said? I don't sign autographs." Yikes. David Letterman, former host of the David Letterman Show, has made some really weird on-screen moments while interviewing celebrities, and some of these stories are really hard to believe. When he was interviewing Madonna, he stopped the interview and asked her, "Why don't you go and kiss the guy in the audience?" Shocked, she said, "Why are you so obsessed with my love life?" He responded by saying, "Go kiss the guy in the audience. It would knock him out." She responded, "I can't. I've never succumbed to peer pressure." Interviewing Jennifer Lopez, he made the cameraman zoom into a close-up of her chest while saying, "That's pretty good. That's pretty darn good." Ew. David Letterman seems quite rude, but perhaps the rudest interview story has to go to Jesse Eisenberg. While promoting his new movie Now You See Me, the actor seemed to have a meltdown while in an interview, being extremely rude to the interviewer. Out of nowhere, Jesse brought up the often maligned comedian Carrot Top. Before long, it became clear that Eisenberg only brought up Carrot Top so he could mock the interviewer, whose name was Puga, her abilities as an interviewer. "Do you know the comedian Carrot Top? Well, you're like the Carrot Top of interviewers." "Yeah, it's a good thing. Don't cry now. Cry after the interview is over, because otherwise I'll look like I'm responsible for it." Yikes. After this back and forth conversation, Eisenberg half-heartedly performed a magic trick. Puga then asked Eisenberg if he could say her name to the camera. In response, Eisenberg asked Puga to explain what his motivation for saying her name was, like he was performing an acting exercise. When Puga asked Eisenberg to say her name like he was trying to find her in a crowded place, he quietly said her name. Puga then remarked that she would never be able to hear him in a club, and his explanation for why he was being quiet seemed very harsh. He said, "The thing is, I actually didn't want to find you. I actually was hoping to stay alone." After the interview was done, the interviewer said she went behind the curtain and cried. Shia LaBeouf, former Disney star known for his troubled past, turned heads when he wore a paper bag saying, "I am not famous anymore," to a red carpet premiere for his new movie. Just hours before the premiere, LaBeouf found himself sat with a panel in front of a room full of journalists as well as his co-stars. When asked about his decision to star in a movie with so many love scenes, he bent low over the microphone and replied, "When the seagulls follow the trawler, it's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much." He then got up, pushed the mic away, and stormed out of the conference, leaving the audience and his fellow panelists mystified. What does that even mean? Our final celebrity meltdown involves Miss Ariana Grande. In 2015, Ariana went with friends to a donut shop to grab a sweet treat. Everything was looking good until the employee at the donut shop supposedly turned around behind the counter, and while he wasn't looking, Ariana licked some of the donuts still for sale while saying, "I hate America," and later calling the donuts disgusting. The security footage of the incident went mega viral online, and Ariana quickly went to Twitter to apologize, saying, "Seeing a video of yourself behaving poorly that you have no idea was taken is such a rude awakening that you don't know what to do. I was so disgusted with myself." She said, "I'm not here to make any excuses or to justify my behavior because I can't. I'm just here to apologize."
So Justin Baldoni did try to put chatter of a feud with Blake Lively to bed after the rumor mill went into overdrive about the potential tension between the pair earlier this year. The rumors began following the New York City premiere of their film, It Ends With Us, when fans noticed that the two weren't posing together on the red carpet. While Blakely was photographed with her husband Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, and nobody knows why he was on the red carpet, and her co-stars Jenny Slate and Brandon Sklenar, Justin was seen appearing on the red carpet solo, maybe on occasion with his wife. Now, fans of Blake Lively noticed she wasn't following him on Instagram. Actually, none of the cast members were. Now, obviously an Instagram follow isn't exactly concrete evidence, but it does raise eyebrows when you're trying to promote a film. In an interview with Entertainment Tonight, Justin said that Blake should direct a sequel to the film, saying, and I quote, "I think Blake Lively's right to direct. That's what I think." There was another interview where he talked about working with complex personalities on set, saying every movie is a miracle, and then of course you're navigating complex personalities and trying to get everybody on the same page with the same vision, and mistakes are always made, and then you figure out how to move past them. Blake Lively dodged a question about building trust with Baldoni as a scene partner. She said, this movie was such a challenge because you have scenes that are deeply painful and traumatic and physical, but you also have scenes that are full of levity and light and romance. And normally when I see this type of character on screen, you know what's gonna happen, and you're like, oh, that guy's full of red flags. Now, Blake was a co-executive producer on the movie, and she revealed that Ryan Reynolds wrote a pivotal scene of the film, which ruh-roh. She said, "Oh yeah, the iconic rooftop scene. My husband actually wrote it. Nobody knows, but now you do." She's like, "Oh yeah, he works in everything I do. I work in everything he does. So his wins, his celebrations are mine and mine are his." Well, sure. Yeah. All of this painted Blake Lively in a negative light as she promoted the movie also as a romantic comedy and not what it really was. In an interview, she was asked what she would say if anyone out in the public were to talk to her about the issues the movie shows, and she's like, "Oh, it'd be like asking for my address, my phone number, or my location share. You're talking about a film with heavy subject matter, and why are you not discussing the heavy subject matter?" A lot of folks said that she was out of touch, and it created a lot of negative discussion, saying that Blake Lively ignored the domestic harm issue that the movie features, focused on her own personal gains. She was also promoting her hair care line at the same time as the premiere, which received some negative criticism, and rightfully so. No matter how much Jennifer Lopez tries to stay out of drama, the fashionista seems to be constantly taking the blame for other people's struggles. Most recently, the passing of a TikToker, Kyle Marissa Roth, is being pinned on J.Lo. And the story is interesting, albeit sad. So the content creator sadly lost her life on April 15th after a battle with colon cancer. And a lot of folks on social media were quick to point fingers at J.Lo. So on her TikTok page, Roth shared celebrity gossip content, sometimes posting about Jenny from the block. And according to past videos, J.Lo's negative reaction to this had a direct impact on her income, particularly after Roth's account was banned after she used footage from the multi-talents film about growing up in the Bronx, the greatest love story never told. The late entertainer said that Lopez's narcissism single-handedly crushed her small business, leaving her unable to download or save content that had gotten her billions of views, saying J.Lo has cost me more than 4 figures of income just from March 2024, Roth alleged after making a new account. Losing out on money is hard for anyone, but she mentioned that she passed away of colon cancer, it's on her. She said that a week before she passed away. Little ominous. Dave Grohl has experienced his fair share of relationship drama while in the public eye, including multiple cheating scandals. So, snowboarder Tina Bassick dated Grohl for 2 years in the 90s. Following their split, she alleged that he was seeing another woman during their relationship, and she recalled him being busy while they dated. She wrote about this in her 2003 memoir, Pretty Good for a Girl, the autobiography of a snowboarding pioneer. She cited his career as a point of contention between them. Despite trying to get details from Dave Grohl, the athlete wrote that he told her nothing and broke things off. She's like, all I got was a 5-minute phone call from him after 5 weeks of me calling and trying to get a hold of him because I just had to know if these rumors were true and I had to hear it straight from the source. So the Foo Fighters rocker has been married twice, and he has stepped outside of his marriage both times. He and first wife Jennifer Lee Youngblood married in 1994, and he said, when I met my wife, we went out on a few dates, I decided I wasn't ready for a serious relationship, so I just stopped calling. After 3 months, I had a revelation and called her back. She picked up the phone and said, oh, I thought I'd never hear from you again. The pair finalized their divorce in 1997 after he admitted to infidelity. He moved on and tied the knot with current wife Jordan Bloom in 2003. They share 3 daughters, Violet, Harper, and Ophelia. But in September of 2024, the singer admitted to cheating once again, revealing that he had fathered a daughter outside of his marriage in an Instagram statement. I think most folks have moved on a little too quickly from all the awful stuff Joaquin Phoenix has done in recent history. Most notably when he dropped out of a gay romance film just 5 days before filming was set to start in Mexico after just getting cold feet over the project. So he was set to play an on-screen lover opposing Danny Ramirez in this 1930s. Joaquin Phoenix developed the screenplay for the detective love story with Haynes and John Raymond, with a source saying the actor had trepidation over the project amid rumors he was uncomfortable with the film's graphic scenes, although other sources counteract that he's the one who brought the project to the director initially. Haynes told Variety in September 2023 that Joaquin began creating the film with fragments of ideas. Basically, it was just this wonderful, organic way to create the script, and Joaquin was the one pushing it further into more dangerous territory, specifically of that nature. The film was set to be rated NC-17 and feature a relationship that would challenge audiences. Entire sets had been built before he exited the film. So this film kind of hinged on his casting. It had already been pitched to international distributors. His role cannot be recast. The crew is out of work, and stakeholders still need paying. That's not getting cold feet, my dude. That's putting an entire team of hardworking people out of work, and also harming the chances of more risky projects in this vein getting the necessary support that they'll need in the future. Brooke Schofield has issued an apology after resurfaced tweets showed the influencer defending George Zimmerman over the passing of Trayvon Martin. The TikTok star, who co-hosts the popular Canceled podcast with Tana Mojo, shared a nearly 4-minute video on August 3rd where she addressed the very insensitive tweets that she posted between 2012 to 2015. In a clip, a tearful Brooke described her past opinions as disturbing, wrong, horrible, and disgusting. She attempted to explain her mindset at the time that she made the tweets, noting that she was living with her grandparents, and she said that, as is true for a lot of grandparents, they're a bit less progressive than a lot of us are now. She said that her grandfather was a right-wing conservative, and the only thing that she had ever been exposed to were conservative political commentators and news outlets. She said that she still should have known better. She mentioned that sometimes you have these people that you put on a pedestal, and you think everybody older than you is smarter than you and knows everything, and they do not. She acknowledged that it wasn't until after college that she began to shift her way of thinking. She apologized for not addressing the tweets sooner. She explained that she thought it would cause more harm to bring them to light again. And she said, I'm very, very sorry to anybody who was hurt by the tweets, because obviously they are very hurtful.
Katy Perry was a victim of fake AI posts yesterday. Perry was not present at the event, but photos of her on the Met carpet were going viral online. Turns out they were AI-generated pictures. 2 photos had been making the rounds on the internet, both fakes. The reason photos may have slipped over people's heads at first likely has to do with the type of event the Met Gala is. The dresses in the photos were perfectly on theme and over the top and looked completely impractical to wear, but that's exactly what Katy Perry is known for at the Met. Think back to that time she wore a literal hamburger. That looked more uncomfortable than the AI creations. The photos were also going viral before most of the streams of the carpet went live. People knew celebrities were already hitting the carpet. Even though the streams weren't live, media hosts Emma Chamberlain and Ashley Graham had already done their walk up. Completely reasonable to think Katy had already walked up too. Some of the initial tweets featuring the photos have received over 10 million views. The photos were so convincing, they fooled Katy's own mom. The singer shared a screenshot of her conversation with her mother, clarifying the photo wasn't real, with the message, LOL mom, the AI got you too, beware. There are tells in the photo that it is AI, like the photographer is looking a little wonky in the back, and the carpet being for a different year. The dress is just so stunning, you truly don't really look at anything else at first, but that's one of the major concerns people have with AI, creating something a little bit too believable. Many music artists, including Perry, recently signed an open letter warning about the dangers of AI when it comes to creating art. Another victim of AI fakes was Rihanna. Rihanna is the belle of the Met Gala ball, even this year when she didn't even attend. I mean, Rihanna not attending is a fail on its own for viewers, but she had a perfectly good reason to miss. She had planned on going, even commenting on her outfit before, saying it would be real simple this year, but nature had other plans, keeping Rihanna home with the flu. But she was there in the museum in the form of fake AI images. Regarding the fake AI, it was the same story as Katy Perry. Rihanna is known for her over-the-top, perfectly on-theme outfits, so when the over-the-top, perfectly themed outfits started hitting people's Twitter feed, there was no reason to believe they weren't real on first glance. Of course, it was too good to be true. Rihanna wasn't physically there, but possibly the most iconic look to ever see the Met Gala since its debut on the Met steps, the embroidered yellow masterpiece has traveled around the world, being shown in various museums. It's brought up every year when the Met Gala happens. Hopefully we will get to see the look Rihanna planned to wear last night though sometime soon. Everybody thought Doja Cat was about to serve the biggest fashion fail of the Met Gala ever, wearing towels. When she stepped out of her hotel for the photo call that happened on the way to the Met, the singer was wearing her hair up in a towel as a dress, and had long mascara cry lines running down her face. Stepping out like this, everyone quickly began to make comments about how strange the outfit was and how towels should not be going on the Met Gala red carpet, especially not with this year's theme. It seemed Doja was just messing with everyone. That wasn't her actual outfit, though it did tie into the real deal. Doja's carpet outfit was a wet, floor-length white t-shirt. Many people still consider this a fashion fail, but I think the Met was the perfect backdrop for this look. Doja explained the meaning behind the dress, saying she wanted to incorporate the most used fashion plant into her dress, cotton. So she wore a cotton t-shirt and used hair gel to make it look wet. I saw people comparing her to marble statues you see in many gardens, the wet fabric looking like expertly crafted marble. There was also the theme of the exhibit, pieces that can never be worn again. The white t-shirt was so covered in hair gel, I'm sure no one could ever wash and wear that again. I think Doja was reversing time here with her look, taking a shower in reverse. She showed up in the last step first, the towel, then she was in the actual shower, and then her after party look, a fully nude outfit, was the getting ready to shower. Doja looked like she was having fun with her fashion, though this did get her on a few worst dressed lists. The queen of the Met Gala, Blake Lively, missed the event this year, and she was greatly missed. She also skipped last year due to the fact that she recently had a child, but people were hoping the star would make an appearance at this year's gala, especially after she made an appearance at a Tiffany & Co event in NYC last week. Unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be, much to the disappointment of Met watchers. Lively is one celebrity everyone can count on to not only follow the theme, but also just knock it out of the park. Her past looks have gone down in Met history, like her red dress for the Heavenly Bodies theme, or her Statue of Liberty inspired dress from her last Met. The fashion queen was missed this year, but it's understandable if her and husband Ryan Reynolds wanted a night in with their family instead. Kendall Jenner's after-party look was more on theme than her carpet look, at least that's what some fans are saying online. To the actual carpet, Jenner wore the never-worn archival Alexander McQueen piece. The piece was stunning, but it was a startling contrast from all the other outfits people had been seeing, as it was all black and it did not appear to have many floral or soft accents. Because of this, people started calling the model out for not sticking to the theme. Kendall later explained why she felt the piece was a perfect fit for the theme. It was a true Sleeping Beauty. The piece was designed for Alexander McQueen's fall 1999 Givenchy couture collection, and it was only ever seen on a mannequin. Kendall wearing it was the first time the piece had ever been worn, waking it up. The story is beautiful, but just looking at it with no context, yeah, it just doesn't look like it fits in. Kendall's second look and third look, they absolutely fit in. They are stunning. One of her after-party looks was a Vivienne Westwood inspired white lace mini dress, the intricacy of the lace fitting right in with this year's theme, and her second after-party look was another Alexander McQueen for Givenchy look, this one from spring in 1997. A white dress with a corset that looked like angel wings and a flowy skirt. About the later looks in comparison to the carpet look, one ex-user wrote, "It never fails to amaze me how Kendall will consistently nail the Met theme at the after party, but not on the carpet." Met photographers are being called out online for comments they made while photographing K-pop boy band Stray Kids. An important part of the Met are the photographers and the camera operators. Without them, we would have nothing to talk about. However, some photographers were caught in a live stream speaking rudely to the band. One particular live stream was held right in the middle of all the photographers. Great for the audience, we had the celebrities practically posing directly at us. However, maybe not so great for photographers, as we could hear almost everything they said. For the most part, it was just a lot of over the shoulder and big smile, and most subjects were singles or couples, so they were easy to shoot. Stray Kids is a big band though, 8 men all standing in a line. That's a bit harder to get a good shot so close. Many photographers began voicing their frustration, shouting at the band to keep standing close together even though they were already pretty close, speaking in a mocking tone, calling out fans screaming, and making backhanded comments about the way the group was posing. One thing you should never do is anger a K-pop fandom. Fans of Stray Kids have been sharing and reposting the clip from the carpet, calling for the Met to hold the photographers accountable. One writing, "Please make sure there is accountability taken so that none of these vile trash photographers are given credentials again at Met Museum." From photos seen of the band later on, it seems like these comments either weren't heard or they didn't care because the band looked like they were having a lot of fun. Taylor Swift's best friend and her enemy just interacted on the Met carpet last night, and fans are losing it. Lana Del Rey made an appearance at the Met in a stunning nature-inspired dress, and Kim Kardashian made an appearance as well in a fitted gray and silver ensemble. Both women looked awesome, and they weren't afraid to snap a few official pics together on the carpet, much to the disappointment of Taylor Swift fans. What are Taylor fans fighting and moaning about? Well, Lana Del Rey is good friends of Taylor's. They collaborated on music together. Taylor even attended the Grammys with Lana. Taylor and Kim though, that friendship has crashed and burned. They were friends, then Kim edited the phone call of Taylor consenting to the famous lyrics and made Taylor look bad, and then Taylor was getting bullied so much she disappeared for a year. It wasn't good. The pair haven't been friends since that, and Taylor has written many tracks people believe are about Kim K. The most recent being "Thank You Amy," with certain letters capitalized in the title to spell out Kim. So Lana, being all buddy-buddy with Kim, has angered many Taylor fans, some calling the situation wrong and referring to Lana as a fake friend. Kim Kardashian showed up to the Met Gala and soon had people worrying about her health. Kim K wore a silver and gray John Galliano look with a shawl. The dress was stunning, people weren't in love with the sweater, but it was honestly difficult to focus on anything except Kim K's waistline because of her tight corset. She looked great, and I'm sure that the look she was going for was achieved, but the corset had cinched Kim's waist so much it was all people could talk about. Many saying it looked like she couldn't breathe. Due to the tightness of the dress, Kim needed assistance walking up the staircase, which only added to people's concern. The Skims owner is known for making headlines at the Met Gala, and this year is no different. People are trolling Chris Hemsworth for his simple outfit, despite the fact that he was a co-chair for the event this year. People are not big fans of Hemsworth's outfit from yesterday. Not that he looked bad, many people just thought the look was a little boring. It was a beige Tom Ford 3-piece suit. He did spice it up with a couple necklaces, but that was it. Many people felt he didn't follow this theme super well and just wasn't very interesting in comparison to the other co-chairs. He did have some serious competition though. Bad Bunny, Jennifer Lopez, and of course the fashion icon princess of the Met, Zendaya. Hemsworth's suit just didn't hold up when compared to Bad Bunny's extravagant striped suit, bouquet, and headpiece, Lopez's intricately beaded gown, or Zendaya's two incredible looks. Lizzo is being criticized for a fat-phobic caption she posted about the Met Gala. The singer attended the event wearing a nude, partially sheer dress. Her undergarments, which could be seen through the outer layer, were covered in colorful petals, and the dress had petals falling down it. The bottom was kind of like flipped up and created this catch-all thing for the petals to fall into. She also had a petal-catching basket headpiece too. It's pretty unclear to fans what is going on. The dress is being referred to as the vase dress. I also think it looks like when you get a bouquet and they wrap it in paper. I think she looks great. Not many people agreed with me though. Fans and the general public took to their various social media accounts to troll the singer or voice their general confusion regarding the look. This prompted Lizzo to post the controversial caption, "If I'm not in your best dressed, you're fat-phobic." The caption was not not received well at all. Comments soon began pouring in, people doubling down on their hatred for the dress. One user writing, "The used filter of the coffee." Another, "I'm not fatphobic, I just don't like the headpiece." Another saying Lizzo was wearing a dog cone. Some people were more chill with their comments. One fan writing, "That's an incredible dress and a great photo, but that comment was completely unnecessary. I love Lizzo, but that commentary needs to stop." Despite all the backlash, the post and the caption are still on Lizzo's account as of this morning. As you might be able to tell, I was very excited about the theme this year, and I thought people really did show up for it. The looks were absolutely stunning. My favorites being Tyla, Alia Bhatt, Mona Patel, Rachel Zegler, and more. Let me know your favorite Met look in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.
From past interviews to getting sued to starting a music career, here's our list of the top 10 embarrassing Kim Kardashian moments that ruined her career. Now starting off, we have Dancing with the Stars. Yes, Kim was once a contestant on Dancing with the Stars, and it did not go well. In 2008, she appeared on the show and paired up with professional dancer Mark Ballas. They were eliminated during week 3, but not before Kim had tried her hand at twerking. Yep, you heard that right. Now, she later joked about her awful dancing skills during an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Now, in 2015, Mark opened up about the partnership in an interview with the Orlando Centennial. "She wasn't the best dancing partner. I love her. She's awesome. We became good friends," he said. Dancing was not her thing, but she's a great girl. Next up is her get up and work comments. In March 2022, Kourtney, Kim, and Khloe Kardashian, alongside their mother Kris Jenner, did an interview for Variety. Now during the interview, Kim was asked to offer women in business advice, and she responded with, "Get your effing ass up and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days." Now her sister Kourtney chimed in as well, saying, "That's so true." Now this outraged fans, noting that both sisters were born wealthy and were given a head start in life. Now Kim would soon regret saying this as for the backlash and for the memes. Variety then posted the clip to TikTok, gaining over 3.3 million views in 6 days. Now it was probably one of the most out of touch comments Kim's ever made, and it's just gross because her family agreed with her. Now we have the Marilyn Monroe dress. Kim wanted to stand out at the 2022 Met Gala, and what better way to do that than wear an iconic dress that was worn by Marilyn Monroe. Now although it was a moment in history, it caused a lot of problems. When Kim arrived on the carpet, she revealed that she had to lose 16 pounds in 3 weeks in order to fit into the gown. Now following this, many slammed Kim for appearing to promote a toxic and dangerous mindset about body image and weight loss. All of this though got covered up with another scandal, as it was claimed that Kim actually damaged and ripped the real Marilyn Monroe dress. Now she denied it, but a Monroe collector is claiming that the dress has sustained permanent damages as a result, and frustrations have been renewed. Scott Fortner, a collector who works to authenticate and verify Monroe memorabilia, shared photos of the dress taken that appear to show stretched and buckling fabric, along with missing crystals or ones left hanging by a thread. Then there's how the crew was treated. Now reports have surfaced that the Kardashians were very kind to the camera crew when Keeping Up with the Kardashians first started in 2007. However, as the show progressed and the family gained more fame, their kindness and respect for the crews they worked with dwindled, causing unpleasant and unfriendly moments behind the scenes. Now according to The Sun, the Kardashians repeatedly berated crew members and made unreasonable demands on anyone in their path. Additionally, the girls often try to direct what happens or demand multiple reshoots of simple moments on the show to place themselves in the best light they can at the expense of the rest of the family and crew. Not to mention, the Kardashian housekeepers claim the girls never cleaned up after themselves, yet expected their rooms and closets to always be camera ready. Now while there's no doubt that the Kardashian women are busy with their show, some have argued that they don't have the right to be so demanding of the housekeepers who help tend their homes. Now this even led to a lawsuit in 2021, as reported by NBC News, with 7 workers claiming that Kim failed to pay overtime, cover expenses, and provide legally mandated breaks, while expecting them to always be on call to pick up after her. Moving on to getting booed. Kim Kardashian appeared at Tom Brady's roast. roast. Now the roast, which aired live on Netflix, is now missing some notable footage from when Kim first took the spotlight. Live viewers couldn't miss the crowd's boos after host Kevin Hart introduced her, but in the version currently available on Netflix, Kim is greeted exclusively by applause. Now as Kim makes her way to the stage, the audience's only audible reaction is applause, as it was in the original broadcast. "Thank you so much, Kevin," she says in this edited version, as she then makes a joke about his height. But that's not what happened in real life. In the live broadcast, when Kim made an earlier attempt to deliver that first joke, it was interrupted by significant booing from the crowd following the initial applause. Now after saying, "I know a lot of people make fun of your height," she looked away from the teleprompter with irritation. All right, she said. Now on Netflix, the roast includes a message that says, edited from a previous live stream, but people who saw the stream live know what happened and were already talking about it online, as it wasn't a secret. Now we have her music career. Back in 2010, Kim decided to try out a career in the music industry. In 2011, she dropped her debut music video, Jam, Turn It Up, but the music career of Kim was very short-lived, and it was the first and last song that she sang. Now Kim had worked on the track with some very talented people, and had revealed that a portion of the proceeds from the song's sale would be donated to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. However, the song did not turn out to be very successful. The New York Daily News had called Kim the worst singer in the reality TV universe. Kim never sang again, except for her mom Kris Jenner's birthday celebration music video in the year 2015. Now, according to Rolling Stone, Kim had revealed on an episode of Watch What Happens Live that she regrets singing the track. The reality TV star revealed on the show that making Jam Turn It Up was a memorable experience and allowed her to raise money for cancer, but that she considered the track to be her biggest mistake. Now she further said that she does not like it when people do things they are not good at, and for herself, she thinks that she does not have a good voice to be a singer, therefore she should not have sung the track. I mean, it appears that it was for a good cause, but still, Kim did horrible, but at least she can acknowledge that. Now let's talk about her acting debut. Yes, you might not know it, but before Kim starred in American Horror Story, she had a role in the 2008 comedy Disaster Movie. Kim starred alongside Carmen Electra and Vanessa Milano before she was slammed by a meteorite. Now as expected, the movie only got a 1% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Now during an appearance on the ABC reality show Big Fan almost a decade after the film premiered, Kim revealed that she's not particularly proud of this one. "I'm mortified if you have the clip," she admitted. "I can't watch." And yeah, I can't blame her here, it was a rough watch for sure. She had no business being in that movie at all. Then there's She Stole Kimoji. David Liebenson was a software developer who worked with Kim on her Kimoji. Now David and two colleagues invented the Kardashian-themed emoji range, which resulted in thousands of downloads a second, and the app supposedly generating $1 million a minute. But they didn't see a cent after their deal fell apart, as Kim and her no-nonsense lawyer, Marty Singer, gave them little option but to walk away from developing Kimoji, losing out on a fortune. Now David sued Kim for $300 million in 2019, claiming she stole his idea and ran away with the trademark. David and his colleagues had initially agreed on a deal with Kardashian's team for a profit share on Kimoji and an anti-cyberbullying app that they created called Censorgram, which Kim was eager to be the face of before the deal went south. Now David says he was forced to withdraw his $300 million lawsuit as his legal fees spiraled out of control along with the rest of his life. Now David said he's got nothing left to lose and has created a website called www.kimkardashianruinedmylife.com to spread his message and raise money. Next up is Kim getting kicked off stage by Prince. On Prince's Welcome to Tour, which saw the legendary artist perform over 80 shows from 2010 to 2012, traveled across North America, and cemented his legacy with a series of critically acclaimed shows. Now on the final night of his Madison Square Garden residency, Prince hunted for someone in the star-studded front rows to join him on stage. He then spotted Kim and asked her to join him and immediately began dancing around her. Now for those of you who don't know, Kim hates dancing, so why she agreed to go up on stage, I don't know. She laughed nervously while standing in place and clapping for him before Prince instructed her to get off my stage. Now Kim later discussed the incident during an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. "I was just so nervous and I was just like laughing. To my defense, like, didn't Prince watch Dancing with the Stars? bars. Like, I'm not a good dancer. Now, following this moment, Prince and Kim would never meet again. He never forgot her performance on stage with him, as he refused to take part in an episode of New Girl alongside members of her family, according to Zooey Deschanel. Yikes. And lastly, we have Kim's lost earring. One of the most iconic scenes in Keeping Up with the Kardashians history is when the family was vacationing in Bora Bora in 2011. Kim was with Kris Humphries at the time, and he threw her into the ocean while she was wearing her clothes. Kim then noticed that her $75,000 earrings she was wearing were no longer in her ears. She then began crying and turns hysterical. When her sister Kourtney finds out what happens, she iconically exclaims, "There's people that are dying, Kim." Now, Kylie later found the earrings shortly after Kim lost them, but Kim's bratty reaction would last forever in a meme form. Now, Kim explained years later to People magazine why the earrings caused such a reaction. 4 years for my birthday, I buy myself a birthday present, and I had upgraded that pair of diamond studs. Worked really hard, I had just gotten them, and I didn't insure them. And imagine if you don't insure something and it's gone. I just threw that money away. Then she defended her reaction during E's 10th anniversary special in 2017, telling viewers that while she could see Kourtney's point now, people just don't realize how much those jewels meant to her. Kim Kardashian is feuding with one of her sisters again. She's been called out by Khloe with her shady Instagram posts, as the pair have been fighting on the new episode of The Kardashians. Now, in the most recent episode of The Kardashians, the sisters clashed over Khloe's parenting, with Kim suggesting that Khloe's 2 kids rule her life. Now, this came about after Khloe turned down a trip to Paris for Fashion Week because she wanted to be home with her kids. Now, last week's episode also documented their family vacation to Aspen, which took place in January. On the trip, Kim called out Khloe for FaceTiming her daughter during their group dinner. Now, Kim again was annoyed with this. Kim said in a confessional, "Here we go again. She just is so stuck on what's going on at home that she can't have a good time," before later describing Khloe constantly FaceTiming her kids as annoying. Several viewers of the reality show have since called Kim out for shaming Khloe, and fans have actually done the math and figured out that Khloe was seemingly shading Kim on Instagram around the very same time that they were quietly clashing. Now, back in January and February, around the same time as the Aspen trip, Khloe shared multiple quotes that are seemingly aimed at Kim. 20 years from now, the only people who'll remember if you worked late are your kids, one quote read. "Raise your children to be impressed by kindness, loyalty, and humility, not just wealth, possessions, and power," read another. Then in 2007, Kim and her then boyfriend, Ray J tape was leaked online, and it's how Kim rose to fame. Now, Kim sued Vivid Entertainment for ownership of the tape. In late April 2007, Kim dropped the suit and settled for $5 million. Now, the blame was put on Ray J for releasing the video, but after all these years, Ray J maintains his innocence. He said, "I've sat in the shadows for over 14 years, allowing the Kardashians to use my name, to abuse my name, make billions of dollars over a decade and a half, talking about a topic I've never really spoken about. I've never leaked anything. I've never leaked a tape in my life." Now, he claims that Kim and Kris negotiated the release of the tape in the early 2000s. Now, Kris apparently watched 3 different Ray J and Kim and chose to leak the one that gave her daughter a better look. Now, if that's true, that is just gross. Now, Kris Jenner has denied playing a role in getting her daughter tape released, and even took a lie detector test on the James Corden show, but Ray J is still adamant that they did help. Now, looking back, Ray J said he is embarrassed of the tape. Now, Kim's whole relationship with Kris Humphries was something else. They dated for 6 months before they got married. Now, Kris wasn't really into all the fame, but Kim wanted it all. Now, their relationship made them a lot of money. The reality star was paid $1.5 million by People for their wedding photos alone. They also got $30,000 for their engagement announcement, and another massive chunk of cash from both her bridal shower and her honeymoon pictures. Not to mention the bonus check they got from airing their wedding on on keeping up. Now afterwards though, after 72 days, Kim filed for divorce. Now Kris felt bamboozled and cited fraud as the reason for wanting an annulment. Kim's paperwork stated irreconcilable differences, and she later discussed the marriage on her show and revealed her mother encouraged her to run on her wedding day if she needed to. Now following their split, Kris's lawyer told the Los Angeles Fraud Court that Kim had no intention of proceeding with this marriage. It was basically a tactic for the benefit of her show and to make money. But Jonathan Jackson, who worked with the reality star between 2007 and 2009, said that the pair's union was a publicity stunt. Speaking on Good Day LA back in 2011, Jackson said 2 weeks prior to her wedding, she knew it was not something she wanted to do. Unfortunately, they were obligated to honor contracts with the E! Network, which had TV rights. Otherwise, they would have owed a lot of people a lot of money. Now, after their divorce and sketchy relationship, Kris exposed some of Kim's secrets. Back in 2013, Kris revealed that the proposal for the show was not a surprise and that Kim was aware of it, so the scene where she seemed moved and surprised in is super fake. In fact, Kris went further to say that they had to reshoot the proposal because Kim didn't like her reaction. Kim told Kris how, where, and when to propose. It was absolutely no surprise to her whatsoever, a source told Radar Online. First of all, Kris proposed in the middle of the day, and he had to do that because it would create better lighting to capture the moment. Now Kim looked surprised but knew it was happening. She was in full hair and makeup, and she's always in on the show. But all of his ideas were shot down by production officials and Kim. Now, another person she got married to was Kanye West. They got married and had 4 children together, and they were happy until things started to go south in 2020. In July 2020, Kanye acknowledged the possibility of Kim ending their marriage, and later that month, he wrote on Twitter that he had been attempting to divorce Kim. Now, he also wrote that the Kardashian family was attempting to lock him up. In January 2021, CNN reported that the couple were discussing divorce, and a month later, Kim filed for divorce, agreeing to joint custody of their children and declining spousal support from each other. The divorce settlement was finalized in November 2022, and after they divorced, Kim dated Pete Davidson, which Kanye did not like, and he took a lot of digs at Pete and Kim. He posted online about it saying, "You are lying and are liars. Y'all basically kidnapped Chicago on her birthday so she couldn't remember her father not being there, so there. Also, I should see my children 100% of the time, but since there's a separation, it should have been 50% of the time. Y'all wouldn't have played with Donda like that in Jesus' name." Now, the Kardashians, for their part, have repeatedly denied Kanye's claims about Chicago's birthday, and after this rant, Khloe commented on Kanye's posts, begging him to please stop tearing Kimberly down, adding that she and her family have had enough of the false birthday narrative. Now, at the 2022 Met Gala, Kim arrived in the iconic Happy Birthday Mr. President Marilyn Monroe dress. Now, Kim said the idea of wearing the late actress's dress felt like the perfect representation of America. She was granted special access to wear it as it is kept in a museum, and people did not like this. They thought it was unfair and in poor taste to take the dress of an icon and have Kim wear it. Now, besides that, Kim revealed that she had to lose 16 pounds in 3 weeks in order to fit into the gown. She said, "It was such a challenge, it was like a role, I was determined to fit in it. I'd wear a sauna suit twice a day, run on the treadmill, completely cut out all sugar and all carbs, and just eat the cleanest veggies and protein. I didn't starve myself, but I was so strict." Following this, many slammed Kim for appearing to promote a toxic and dangerous mindset about body image and weight loss. She said, "To me, it was like, okay, Christian Bale can do it for a movie role and that is acceptable. It's all the same to me. I wasn't saying, hey everyone, why don't you go lose this weight in a short period of time." Now, her losing all that weight in a short period of time though really rubbed people the wrong way. And finally, we have Kim's short-lived feud with Chloe Grace Moretz. In July 2016, when Kim had her own celebrity feud going on with Taylor Swift, she posted her supposed proof on Snapchat of Taylor lying, and fans went crazy. This annoyed Chloe Grace Moretz though, who tweeted, "Everyone in the industry needs to get their heads out of a hole and look around and realize what's actually happening in the real world. Stop wasting your voice on something so petulant and unimportant." Minutes later, jumping to her big sister's defense, Khloe Kardashian responded with a collage of pictures. Now, the first picture was of Chloe Grace at the beach, and the next photo was a photo of an unknown blonde-haired woman who she presumably thought was Khloe, in the sea suffering an embarrassing and revealing bikini mishap. Now Khloe Kardashian captioned the image, "Is this the hole you're referring to?" at Khloe G. Moretz, and Khloe straight away tweeted back, "Fact check, first photo is me filming my movie Neighbors 2, the second photo is some girl who was wrongly photographed." But this feud didn't end there though. In 2016, Kim turned heads for sharing a full frontal nude selfie with only black bars to protect her modesty on Twitter. She captioned the photo with, "When you're like, I have nothing to wear, LOL." Then, out of nowhere, Khloe responded to the picture by commenting, "I truly hope you realize how important setting goals are for young women, teaching them we have so much more to offer than just our bodies." Now, Kim didn't take this lying down and replied back, "Let's all welcome at Khloe G. Moretz to Twitter since no one knows who she is. Your nylon cover is cute, boo." It's said that Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck are getting a divorce due to crazy demands and rules Jen has set up for Ben. She's put him on a strict diet, doesn't let him speak to women, and she wants to force him to have a baby. Now everyone is appalled at how controlling she is and is happy that Ben is finally getting out. You see, back in May, Ben moved out of their Beverly Hills home and has been staying in a house in Brentwood. He's also been seen occasionally without his wedding ring on. Now on the other side, J.Lo ended up canceling her world tour to spend time with her family and friends, aka to work on her marriage with Ben. But the pair have not been spotted together too much though. They didn't spend Mother's Day together, and Ben did not attend the Met Gala that Jennifer was a co-chair at. Now when they were spotted together at Ben's son's basketball game, things were awkward between the two. They were caught by Paps embracing and trying to share a kiss, but it was just so awkward and weird. Now J.Lo has also been posting some content on her social media that has raised some eyebrows about betrayal and moving on. Not to mention that the couple have put their $60 million mansion up for sale, which isn't a good sign at all. So what will happen to Bennifer? It seems like no one really knows. Now we have Justin Timberlake being arrested. Back in June, Justin Timberlake got arrested for driving under the influence. Sources connected to law enforcement told TMZ that Justin was at the American Hotel partying, and almost immediately after he left and began driving, he blew a stop sign. Now cops saw that and began to follow him, and it's then been said that Justin began swerving and the cops pulled him over. TMZ sources say cops performed a field sobriety test and asked Justin to do a breathalyzer test, but he refused. As for the traffic stop, law enforcement sources said cops observed Justin glassy-eyed, and they say they smelled alcohol on his breath. They said that he failed the field sobriety test when asked to do a one-leg stand and walk and turn. Now it's also been said that several of Justin's friends came on the scene and tried to convince the cops to cut him a break, but they refused. Now in the end, Justin was handcuffed and arrested, and the whole incident was recorded on a police officer's body cam. He was then charged with 1 count of DWI and cited for running a stop sign and failure to keep in his lane. Now we have Brad Pitt's behavior. A lot of eyes have been on Brad Pitt, as it's been revealed that he wasn't the loving family man everyone thought he was when he was married to Angelina Jolie. An FBI report said that Angelina and Brad were traveling with their children in September 2016 on a 2-week trip that ended in Los Angeles International Airport. Now Brad appeared to take issue with Jolie's parenting during the flight, and they retreated to the back of the plane to continue an argument. According to the report, Angelina said he attacked her before punching the ceiling of the plane repeatedly. Now one child saw the altercation and asked Angelina if she was alright. According to the report, "No, mommy's not okay," Brad allegedly yelled back. "She's ruining this family, she's crazy." Now after further physical altercation between them both, Brad spilled wine and beer on furniture and Angelina. Not to mention recently, 3 of his children have been dropping Pitt from their name, and one of them even did it legally. With all this information coming out, people are finally starting to turn against the star. Now we have Tiger Woods' cheating scandal. Tiger Woods was one of the best golfers in the world, but made a mistake that proved to be fatal for his career. Now Tiger became engaged to Ellen Nordegren, a Swedish former model, in November 2003, and they married in 2004. They had 2 children together, but in 2009, cheating scandal after cheating scandal was exposed with Tiger. More than a dozen women stepped forward claiming to have had affairs with him. Now, when all was said and done, Tiger admitted to sleeping with multiple women, which he later specified was 120. Now, it was reported that Tiger allegedly had a months-long affair with a New York City nightclub host, and days and months following this report, more than a dozen women claimed in various media outlets to have had affairs with him. Now, he lied about everything before finally confessing to cheating in a televised statement. After 6 years of marriage, his wife Ellen divorced him, which makes a lot of sense. After the news broke, sponsors immediately cut ties with him, and he was out tens of millions of dollars almost overnight. Now, everyone was disgusted with his behavior, and he's been trying to rebuild his brand ever since. Now we have Amber Heard. In 2022, Amber Heard and her ex Johnny Depp had a lawsuit that was watched around the world. Now, Amber exposed things about how Johnny mistreated her, and a lot of people didn't believe her, and since the trial, she's become one of the most hated people in the world. Now, petitions were started to get her removed from her projects, and due to this, she's now moved permanently to a new home outside of Madrid. She's bilingual in Spanish and is happy there, raising her daughter away from the noise, a source said in May 2023. I don't think she's in any hurry to return to work or Hollywood, but she'll probably come back when the time is right for the right project. Now listen, I don't blame her for moving somewhere else. The trial was covered heavily, and she was made aware that pretty much all of the internet hated her, and after going through something as traumatic as that, it doesn't surprise me that she wants to step out of the limelight. Now, we'll just have to see if she ever comes back to Hollywood, or if anyone will ever want to work with her again. Now we have Meghan Markle's relationship with her father. Now, Meghan Markle has been cancelled multiple times, but it mostly started when it came to her wedding and her father. Meghan's relationship with her estranged father Thomas came under intense media scrutiny as soon as she and Prince Harry announced their engagement in November 2017. In May 2018, just days before the wedding, Thomas teamed up with Jeff Rayner from the Coleman Rayner Photography Agency in Los Angeles to stage photos related to Thomas's wedding preparations. Then, after the photo mishap with her dad, it seems that Thomas made it worse when he sold a private letter Meghan wrote to him. Meghan wrote a private letter to her dad pleading with him to stop cooperating with the press. In it, Meghan said she felt absolutely blindsided by the pain her father was puppeteered into creating by the media. Now, at the end of her letter, Meghan begged Thomas to please stop lying, please stop creating so much pain, please stop exploiting my relationship with my husband, and please stop taking bait from the press. But Thomas did the exact opposite. Now, he sold this letter to the Mail on Sunday, and the site published it for the world to see even more Markle family secrets. Now we have James Corden's behavior. In 2022, James Corden was exposed for being rude and demanding at a restaurant, and he was temporarily banned from there. In an Instagram post, Keith McNally, the owner of celebrity hotspot Balthazar, explained how James had berated his employees on multiple occasions and called the TV personality a tiny cretin of a human, and detailed 2 incidents of Corden's behavior as a customer. The first account claims that the talk show host was extremely nasty in his demands of Balthazar's manager, reportedly demanding the employee to take care of his drinks so that James would not write any nasty reviews on Yelp or anything like that. Now, another alleged outburst occurred when Corden was dissatisfied with his wife's omelet, and according to the Instagram post, he began yelling like crazy to the server, "You can't do your job, you can't do your job, maybe I should go into the kitchen and cook the omelet myself." Now, after this was revealed, the post went viral, and James was forced to address the comments. James said, "The truth is, I have made a rude comment, and it was wrong, it was an unnecessary comment, it was ungracious to the server." And since then, other people have spoken out about his unacceptable behavior. And, to be honest, this doesn't surprise me, as I've always had a kind of weird feeling about him. Now, hopefully now he realizes that manners and how you treat other people are important, and now the owner later rescinded his ban on James, explaining on Instagram that the late night star had called and apologized profusely to him and his staff. And finally, we have the college scandal. Lori Loughlin was convicted of conspiracy to commit fraud in 2020 and served 2 months in jail for her part in the 2019 admissions scandal. Now, in the scandal, wealthy parents paid bribes to get their children accepted into prestigious universities. Lori and her husband paid $500,000 to get their 2 daughters into the University of Southern California as members of the college rowing team, despite neither of the girls ever rowing before. Now, they even staged photos for this. Lori ended up being caught in the lies and pleading guilty to conspiracy to commit wire and mail fraud and was sentenced to 2 months in prison, receive a $150,000 fine, 2 years probation, and 250 hours of community service. Now, when she was first accused, she was fired from the Full House reboot, Fuller House, as well as from One Calls the Heart. Now, Felicity Huffman was also involved in the college admission scandal along with her husband William H. Macy. Felicity made a so-called charitable contribution of $15,000 to participate in the college entrance exam cheating scheme on behalf of her eldest daughter, Sophia Grace May. Now, the Desperate Housewives actress and her husband then made arrangements to do the same for their younger daughter, but later decided against it. After she pleaded guilty to fraud charges, she was sentenced to 14 days in prison. She then had to publicly apologize for her role in the scandal, admitting that she paid to improve her daughter's SAT scores. Now, Felicity and Lori were among dozens of wealthy parents who were charged with participating in schemes to bribe coaches and university insiders or cheat on entrance exams.
First off, Miss Brittney Spears. On February 16th, 2007, the Gimme More singer infamously shaved her head. Days later, she shocked the world by furiously attacking a paparazzo's car with an umbrella. The following July, the pop star offered up a bizarre explanation for her violent behavior. "I was preparing my character for a role in a movie where the husband never plays his part, so they switch places accidentally," she wrote on her website. "I take all my roles very seriously and got a little carried away. Unfortunately, I didn't get the part." But in her 2023 memoir, her opinion on the incident changed. She says, "I'd been eyeballed so much growing up, I'd been looked up and down, I had people telling me what they thought of my body since I was a teenager. Shaving my head and acting out were ways of pushing back," Spears adds in the book. After Brittney was put in a court-ordered conservatorship in 2008, granting her father and a lawyer control over all her financial and personal affairs, she says she was forbidden from keeping the new shaved look. "Under the conservatorship, I was made to understand that those days were now over," she writes. "I had to grow my hair out and get back into shape. I had to go to bed early and take whatever medication they told me to take." Our next celebrity meltdown involves Nothing Compares to You singer Sinead O'Connor. Sinead was performing on SNL when a brief moment destroyed her entire career. On October 3rd, 1992, O'Connor appeared on SNL to promote her new album, Am I Not Your Girl? For the second song of the evening, O'Connor had chosen to perform an a cappella version of Bob Marley's song War. Throughout the performance, she stared intently into the camera, and as she sang the final line, "We have confidence in the victory of good over evil," O'Connor held a photograph of the Pope directly in front of the camera, ripped it up, saying, "Fight the real enemy," before throwing the pieces to the floor. The SNL producers were not aware of O'Connor's plan. During the dress rehearsal, she had held up a picture of a child. Everybody at SNL apparently froze after the live performance, unsure how to react, and that the music producer Liz Welch went from jubilation to tears. The executive producer Lorne Michaels said the air went out of the studio and that he ordered that the applause sign should not be used. The audience remained silent and O'Connor returned to her dressing room where somebody found her talking to herself, quote, doing something between poetry and chanting. Our next celebrity meltdown involves Nicki Minaj and Mariah Carey. On an episode of American Idol, the former show judges got into a curse word-filled fight. Minaj criticized Carey for being too harsh on a contestant, which the Vision of Love singer responded by saying, "I'm sorry, it's just that that's what I do, Nicki." The Anaconda rapper immediately fired back. "Oh, you're right. I'm sorry I can't help her," she said, tossing her seat behind her. "Maybe I should just get off the effing panel. Let me get off the panel." After leaving the room, Nicki was overheard shouting, "Shut the F up! Finish the show, I'm done." But that's not the only on-air meltdown Nicki Minaj has had. When accepting her VMA award for Best Music Video, Nicki made a dig at fellow performer Miley Cyrus. While thanking her pastor and other fans, Nicki said, "Back to this B-word who had a lot to say about me the other day in the press. Miley, what's good?" Speaking of on-air meltdowns, Hugh Grant had some rude things to say to Ellen while on her talk show. After she complimented her guest, calling him fantastic, smart, and all those things, Grant responded back by saying, "I wish I thought that about you." He also had some rude things to say about Julia Roberts while on the Oprah show. Very big mouthed. Literally, physically, she has a very big mouth. When I was kissing her, I was aware of a faint echo. Again, they would try to get Grant back on track during the interview, mentioning that Julia Roberts was a really good person, in which Grant responded by saying, I wouldn't go that far. Hugh Grant would go on to admit that this current relationship with Roberts is not on the best of terms because of past comments. I've probably made too many jokes about the size of her mouth. She might hate me by now. Michael Jackson seemed to have a meltdown after his infamous baby dangling incident. If you don't know what I'm talking about, here is the story. In 2002, Michael Jackson visited Berlin to accept an award for his philanthropic work on behalf of children, a Lifetime Bambi Entertainment Award. During his stay, the pop star dangled his 9-month-old son, nicknamed Blanket because his face was covered with a towel, over the balcony of the hotel he was staying in. It seemed that what the king of pop was trying to do was show his baby to the fans that had gathered outside his hotel, but the public's response was obviously completely opposite from what Jackson had expected. As soon as photos and videos of the incident were released to the public, the media started criticizing Michael's parenting skills and reckless behavior. Ringo Starr, a former member of the Beatles, got in a serious altercation with interviewer Sherry Hewson. During a live event, she said, he just sat down, said, okay then girls, what are we doing here? Shall we just get Paul McCartney out of the way? This was live, by the way. Anyway, he carries on. Let's get Paul McCartney out the way. You want me to talk about Paul McCartney? I said. Well, no, you're here. And he said, no you don't. You want to talk about Paul McCartney. She continued, he was so angry. It was just so weird. I thought, why? Why? It was just a really weird thing. And then he said to the audience, can I tell you all, if anyone wants an autograph, cannot have one, because I don't do things like that. At the end of it, one of the producers came up with one of her little children who was only 4 years old and said that she knew he didn't do autographs, but told him that her daughter was only 4 and she really loves the Beatles. He just stared and said, really? And then he said, did you not hear what I just said? I don't sign autographs. Yikes. David Letterman, former host of the David Letterman Show, has made some really weird on-screen moments while interviewing celebrities, and some of these stories are really hard to believe. When he was interviewing Madonna, he stopped the interview and asked her, why don't you go and kiss the guy in the audience? Shocked, she said, why are you so obsessed with my love life? He responded by saying, go kiss the guy in the audience. It would knock him out. She responded, I can't. I've never succumbed to peer pressure. Interviewing Jennifer Lopez, he made the cameraman zoom into a close-up of her chest while saying, that's pretty good. That's pretty darn good. Ew. David Letterman seems quite rude, but perhaps the rudest interview story has to go to Jesse Eisenberg. While promoting his new movie Now You See Me, the actor seemed to have a meltdown while in an interview, being extremely rude to the interviewer. Out of nowhere, Jesse brought up the often maligned comedian Carrot Top. Before long, it became clear that Eisenberg only brought up Carrot Top so he could mock the interviewer, whose name was Puga, her abilities as an interviewer. Do you know the comedian Carrot Top? Well, you're like the Carrot Top of interviewers. Yeah, it's a good thing. Don't cry now. Cry after the interview is over, because otherwise I'll look like I'm responsible for it. Yikes. After this back and forth conversation, Eisenberg half-heartedly performed a magic trick. Puga then asked Eisenberg if he could say her name to the camera. In response, Eisenberg asked Puga to explain what his motivation for saying her name was, like he was performing an acting exercise. When Puga asked Eisenberg to say her name like he was trying to find her in a crowded place, he quietly said her name. Puga then remarked that she would never be able to hear him in a club, and his explanation for why he was being quiet seemed very harsh. He said, the thing is, I actually didn't want to find you. I actually was hoping to stay alone. After the interview was done, the interviewer said she went behind the curtain and cried. Shia LaBeouf, former Disney star known for his troubled past, turned heads when he wore a paper bag saying, I am not famous anymore, to a red carpet premiere for his new movie. Just hours before the premiere, LaBeouf found himself sat with a panel in front of a room full of journalists as well as his co-stars. When asked about his decision to star in a movie with so many love scenes, he bent low over the microphone and replied, when the seagulls follow the trawler, it's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much. He then got up, pushed the mic away, and stormed out of the conference, leaving the audience and his fellow panelists mystified. What does that even mean? Our final celebrity meltdown involved involves Miss Ariana Grande. In 2015, Ariana went with friends to a donut shop to grab a sweet treat. Everything was looking good until the employee at the donut shop supposedly turned around behind the counter, and while he wasn't looking, Ariana licked some of the donuts still for sale while saying, "I hate America," and later calling the donuts disgusting. The security footage of the incident went mega viral online, and Ariana quickly went to Twitter to apologize, saying, "Seeing a video of yourself behaving poorly that you have no idea was taken is such a rude awakening that you don't know what to do. I was so disgusted with myself." She said, "I'm not here to make any excuses or to justify my behavior because I can't. I'm just here to apologize."
Elevator fights, early walkouts, and of course controversial outfits are just some of the craziest things we've seen over the years at the Met Gala. There's been a lot of pivotal moments from the prestigious event, but these ones are definitely not going on the highlight reel. First on our list is AOC's Tax the Rich dress. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or simply AOC, caused a huge stir back in 2021 for all the wrong reasons. Controversy and shocking moments is nothing new when it comes to the Met Gala. Celebrities are encouraged to come up with extremely outlandish outfits, so you're always bound to have more than a few that stir up some mixed reactions online. AOC's 2021 outfit definitely wasn't the strangest looking thing on the red carpet, but the message is what really got people going. She was wearing a fairly normal looking white dress, but written on the back in bright red letters was "Tax the Rich." Now that's pretty rich, pun intended, coming from someone who is attending such a high society event. A ticket to the Met Gala costs a whopping $30,000 US, so only the richest of the 1% can even afford to go. So obviously many people were quick to point out the unbelievable hypocrisy in AOC's message. Now in response to the backlash she received online, the Congresswoman stated that the message was the important part and the time for healthcare and climate action for all is now. She also stated that New York elected officials are regularly invited to the gala to oversee the city's cultural institutions. No matter what excuses she managed to come up with though, the hypocrisy left a terrible image on the politician. Next on our list is Lena Dunham. Tension amongst table mates does in fact happen at the Met Gala. Usually everyone acts very cordially with each other, but there are some occasions where people just don't get along with their peers for a number of different reasons. On this occasion, we are talking about Lena Dunham's interaction with NFL player Odell Beckham Jr. at the 2016 gala. Dunham claimed that Beckham was incredibly rude throughout the entire evening and paid absolutely no attention to her even though they were sitting at the exact same table. Dunham said in an interview for her own newsletter that the gala should be renamed the Metropolitan Museum of Getting Rejected by Athletes. She claimed that Beckham was far more interested in scrolling through Instagram rather than looking at a woman wearing a bow tie because she wasn't the perfect image in his eyes. After this bizarre and very angry outburst, Dunham had to retract some of her statements and apologize for what she said. She claimed that her emotions got the better of her, and it was incredibly easy to feel bad about yourself when you're surrounded by beautiful supermodels. It seems like fans really didn't like Dunham's behavior, and her apology wasn't too well received either. Beckham himself seemed to shrug off the angry comments and just stated that's life. Although it didn't really seem to have an effect on the NFL star, it definitely ruffled some feathers online. Up next is Demi Lovato. Leaving the event early is probably not the best way to get another invite back to the Met Gala. Lovato was attending the event in 2016, but it was pretty obvious that she was not having a very good time. She did the usual posing for photos on the red carpet to show off her outfit, but beyond that, she didn't have anything good to say about the prestigious event. Lovato was so sick of the atmosphere and the people around her that she just decided to get up and leave in the middle of the event. She later went on to explain that the people around her were unbearable and she just couldn't handle it any longer. There was one celebrity in particular who she did not initially name that was apparently the worst of them all, and this was making her want to drink. The performer has been very vocal about her substance issues in the past, so she felt that this was the best time to just leave before things got any worse. Leaving early was not a good look in the eyes of the organizers, but people really didn't like her comments about what she did after she left. Lovato decided to go to an AA meeting while still wearing her expensive diamonds and claimed she felt more like the homeless people in the meeting than the celebrities at the gala. It was a bit of a ridiculous thing to say while she was wearing expensive jewelry and comparing herself to people living in poverty. After that we have Kim Kardashian. Alright, this one could be all sorts of different incidents. Kim really doesn't have a very good track record with the Met Gala, but that hasn't stopped her from showing up in style. She was reportedly banned from the event a few years ago, but she would still show up in any way to flaunt her latest trends. Her most controversial moment though was when she showed up to the 2022 installment wearing Marilyn Monroe's dress. This was the exact outfit the late supermodel wore when she sang "Happy Birthday Mr. President" many years ago. Many people were unhappy with Kim's decision to wear the dress and felt it was a great disservice to Monroe. It was also reported that Kim managed to damage the priceless dress while she was wearing it, which only made matters even worse. Kim tried to save face by revealing that she went on a rigorous diet to fit into the dress, but this was just another point that drove people crazy online. She explained how the diet caused her to suffer from arthritis that was so bad she couldn't even move her own hands. People claim that she was practically advertising an eating disorder in the name of fashion and was missing the point completely. It seems like Kim would have been better off just saying nothing at all instead of digging herself a bigger hole. Next up we have Jay-Z and Solange. In what has to be one of the most high-profile celebrity couples of all time, Jay-Z married Beyonce in 2008 and the pair have been together ever since. Of course, when one of the greatest rappers of all time marries one of the greatest singers of all time, that marriage is going to be analyzed by fans and paparazzi 24/7. But this marriage nearly had a very different outcome after a crazy incident unfolded during the 2014 Met Gala between Jay-Z and his sister-in-law Solange. Rumors were starting to circulate that Jay-Z had cheated on Beyonce, and Solange obviously had a little more information on this topic than the general public. It wasn't until the gala had concluded and the pair were attending an after party that Solange lost her cool and attacked Jay-Z in an elevator. Apparently she had confirmed that the rumors were true, and she was incredibly unhappy with the rapper and what he had done to her sister. The surveillance tape from the elevator was later released to the public, and things were really not looking good for Jay-Z and his relationship with Beyonce. We all remember Beyonce's 2016 album Lemonade that dropped a ton of not so subtle hints about Jay-Z's reported infidelity. Now Jay-Z did eventually come forward and apologize for what he had done and managed to save face, but this was a pretty bad look for the iconic rapper and the gala as a whole. Next on our list is Teyana Taylor and Pusha T. It's not often that a food-related incident can have such a negative impact on your career. With the high-profile guests in attendance and the very expensive admission, you would assume that the food at the Met Gala would have to be top-notch. Most of the time we don't even get to see the food since there are no cell phones allowed in the event, but some celebrities like to break the code. Pusha T decided that he was going to snap a pic of his food for the gram, but he instead decided to call out his table mate Teyana Taylor for her very unique meal choice. It seems like Taylor really wasn't enjoying the food that was provided for her and stuck in a hearty serving of Chick-fil-A to eat instead. Now Pusha T posted a pic of Teyana's meal on his Instagram story and claimed that she was embarrassing him. He then posted another story claiming that Usher tried to stop her from doing it, but she just didn't listen. Taylor was determined to get her Chick-fil-A into the Met Gala, and she definitely succeeded. Some people found it funny, but others just really didn't see the humor in it. They claimed that she had deliberately insulted the integrity of the event, and her actions were grounds for dismissal. On the other side though, some people really didn't like Pusha T being a bit of a snitch in this scenario, so this was a bit of a double-edged sword. Up next is Sarah Jessica Parker. Someone who is known for nailing the themes of every Met Gala took it one step too far. Sarah Jessica Parker has a pretty good track record of rocking some very interesting designs at the gala. We all know the event changes themes every year, and SJP always seems to nail them to a T. In 2015, however, many fans felt that she got it very wrong. The theme of that year's event was China through the looking glass, so people were encouraged to celebrate Chinese culture. Now, maybe SJP thought she had nailed another theme when she turned up in her outfit, but it ended up completely backfiring on her. The dress she chose to wear was actually very normal as far as the Met Gala goes, but her headdress caused quite a bit of controversy. Many people felt that her design was appropriating Chinese culture, and that she was feeding into the dragon lady stereotype. It wasn't a good look for someone who has become a bit of a staple at the event. This has also hurt her image in the eyes of the organizers. SJP did manage to bounce back after this fumble, but this incident turned out to be a bit of a wake-up call for her. After that we have Jaden Smith. Bringing a piece of yourself as a date is a whole new level of weird. Jaden Smith is someone who's never been shy when it comes to expressing their fashion sense. He has worn some pretty eye-catching fits over the years, but his appearance at the 2017 Met Gala drew a lot of attention for a very different reason. Jaden Smith wore a very neutral fit that was made up of all black, but people were really curious about what he was carrying in his hand. When reporters asked him about his very bizarre prop, he informed them that they were locks of hair and this was his date for the most prestigious night in fashion. It was a bit of a mystery why anyone would bring their own hair as a date, but Jaden stated that if his sister Willow couldn't come as his date, then his own hair would have to do. This didn't really destroy his career by any stretch, but it certainly cast Jaden Smith in a very bizarre light. Even for Met Gala standards, this move from Jaden was just really strange. No one could really make any heads or tails of it, and if there was any sort of subliminal message hidden behind the unsettling prop. He also rocked some eye-catching gold grills that were sparkling every time he opened his mouth, but even that couldn't distract anyone from his hair date. Next on our list is Liv Tyler and Stella McCartney. This one had to be just as awkward as it was controversial. Back in 1999, Liv Tyler and Stella McCartney, both daughters of rock and roll legends, showed up to the Met Gala incredibly underdressed. Most people tend to make waves at this event for their over-the-top designs, but Tyler and McCartney looked like they were ready for an actual rock concert. Now, in their defense, the theme of the event this year was rock style, but they clearly had no idea what the event was all about. Stella McCartney was in fact a fashion designer, decided to go with a very simple idea once she received the invite and the theme for the event. Very basic white shirts with rock royalty written on them were the outfits of choice, but it's pretty obvious why this didn't go over very well with the organizers. Usually we're always talking about people who push the boundaries with their crazy designs at the gala, but Tyler and McCartney were catching attention for all the wrong reasons. In a sea of people who were wearing giant dresses and oversized heels, two girls wearing sleeveless t-shirts were always going to look out of place. Many people criticized the women for their lack of research on the event and decided that their outfits were an actual disgrace to the gala. From the other side of things though, this is probably the closest anyone got to actually following the rock style theme on a real level. And last but certainly not least, we have Jared Leto. This isn't even one isolated incident. This is a collection of absolutely weird and outlandish Jared Leto outfits that caused quite a stir online. The singer and actor is pretty much a show on his own at every single Met Gala. No one manages to push the boundaries as far as Leto, but that has led to a whole host of mixed feelings online. Just last year, Leto showed up in a super creepy cat suit and really embraced the whole furry persona. It was so strange seeing a giant cat walk through the crowd of people on the red carpet, but there was a collective, yeah, not surprised moment when the head came off and revealed that Leto was inside. Some of his past outfits have included a matching twin outfit with Alessandro Michele in 2022, as well as a human head prop in 2019. He's definitely built up a bit of a reputation as the wildest celebrity at the Met Gala, but again, this has led to some mixed emotions. Even for the Met Gala's crazy standards, some believe that he is just taking things too far and is almost disrespecting the integrity of the event. Even though over-the-top fashion is heavily encouraged, Leto really pushes the envelope. So much so that when Frederick Robertson showed up in an outrageous outfit in 2022, everyone just assumed that it was Jared Leto in disguise. Whether anyone likes it or not though, the Met Gala and Jared Leto are clearly tied at the hip with their crazy fashion statements. And that covers our look at the worst celebrity moments from the Met Gala. Will anyone manage to top any of these crazy outfits and moments of the 2024 show?